Hello, welcome to today's live stream. I just wanted to explain, kind of give an update. So, I started this 40-day, what I'm calling a 40-day mission, and the initial intent, there's so many major issues facing humanity, facing our planet, facing civilization. And I spent some time, it was overwhelming, is what I'm saying. And, I'm making a foundation video right now, and I explained all this in a previous live stream called From Doubt to Faith. And that's what it really was. It was a spiritual journey. But the first live stream I did, the audio was messed up. So I have to re edit. And that's what I'm in the process of doing. But it's such an important video, such an important message that it's just taking up too much time. And I don't want to put this 40-day mission on pause any longer to focus on that effort. So the initial intent with this 40-day mission, isolate myself, seclude myself as much as possible. Initially, I was thinking about getting a hotel room and just locking myself in there for 40 days. And why 40 days? There's spiritual significance behind that. And that doesn't mean, hey, James only cares about this stuff 40 days worth out of his life. No, that's 40 days devoted to this. But, I'm funding all this with my retirement, my monthly retirement check. So it's kind of limited. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying is funds are tight, and I've been devoting funds to other efforts to support our mission. And, imagine the quality of hotel you would be comfortable staying at for 40 days, like how much that would cost, a few thousand US dollars. So I've modified our 40-day mission, and now what I'm looking at is I'm in my home studio right now. And if you're here with me, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And, just know this isn't for entertainment purposes. I'm not trying to keep your attention. And we're looking at serious global issues. And today we're going to look at microplastics. So again, initially, that's what I intended is day one, day two, day three, just sequential days of our 40-day mission, but I had to modify that. I took kind of a pause to focus on this foundation video, which I'm very close to finishing up and publishing. But I didn't want to wait any longer. These issues that we're focusing on, they're too important to wait any longer. So day three of our 40-day mission was spent exploring microplastics. And we're going to continue with that effort during today's preparatory live stream. So this is, in my mind, right, it's an informal live stream. So that's why I'm wearing a baseball cap, my gym shirt, and the purpose of it is, just so you know, my research is as transparent as possible, because we're going to be talking about some difficult topics and controversial topics, and we're going to be not shining the spotlight, but kind of zooming in on certain industries and what impacts are they having on humanity overall and our planet. And it's not me, guys. I'm a retired military officer. Um, yeah, I don't claim to be an expert in any specific field, but there's resources out there that I'm utilizing. I've subscribed to Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Nature Science publication journal, among others. And we're going to get deep into this stuff. So I want to give you guys, right, this isn't I have to keep it differentiated in my mind. This isn't the formal out brief. This is kind of me just exploring, researching, not exploring. So let's get into it. I'm going to put a split screen. So I want to give you an update on our website. It's just humanvalueslife.org, and .org because we are an established nonprofit organization. But I added this, guys, the message that inspired human values. And I'm going to spend more time in our foundational video and probably in the next series of live streams, really get heavy into this. But here's the message, guys. It's spiritual in nature, and I don't want to take us too deep into this right now. Just want to highlight, and I hope you do go here and look at it on your own and spend some time. But I'm a believer in the message of the spiritual leader, Jesus of Nazareth. Especially, right? He said in his own words, and I need to add that here, but he said, all the Holy Scripture and all prophets, the message of all previous prophets, are rolled up into one commandment, and that's treat others how you want to be treated. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I am a follower of that message, and every day I try to live my life in accordance with that. But I explained how I went, right? If you're thinking, man, I'm about to click off of this guy because it's kind of a derogatory phrase, but like a religious nut. You know what I'm talking about? Like extremism. No, I'm not. And in this video, the message, my personal journey from doubt to faith, I took some portions of our first live stream and edited it and told a story that kind of leads you up to when I received this message. And I'm very careful with my word choice. Receive this message as accurate as I can say, guys. I didn't write this message. It didn't come from me. I didn't intend to kind of go down this hole, but that's the goodness, the benefit of going live is just run. And you can kind of see how my mind works. But here I just describe it, guys. This isn't me. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say I agree with what's with every component of this message, but I'm not going to go down any further. But we're talking about how this 40-day mission, not 40-day mission, that's one tiny portion of it, how this recommitment to a newly defined purpose of my life, right? Of my energies, my education, my intelligence, like all the gifts that we have. What are you dedicating it? What are you devoting all of your specific talents to? That's what I'm going to devote mine to, is this new mission. So I updated that on our website. And this is it, guys. What are the principles that organizations that you're aware of, what principles do they stand on? Human values, like this community that we're building, stands on these. And I've talked about it in previous videos, guys. That's why I'm kind of going through it pretty fast. I want to share this with you guys too. If you guys notice, it's just me in my home studio. So I just put in my headphones and listen into a playlist. Let me check my audio, guys. Make sure, yeah, looks like I'm okay. So I just created a shared playlist, and it's not an endorsement for any specific streaming service. It's just the one that I use. And if you find something better, add it in the comment, like, hey, actually this service is better because of these reasons. But I really appreciate this playlist has been getting out there and people have been submitting songs. And all I do is when I receive, I don't want to click this, but what it does is when you click this, it opens up your email service that you specifically use. And then it's kind of pre-formatted. Hey, this is a song I want to share with the community. Here's a link to it. Here's kind of why it's significant to me. So for those that have sent songs, I really appreciate it. And that's what I'm listening to right now. That's why I'm sharing this. Man, there's a documentary on Netflix that covers this We Are the World song, like pretty significant. All the superstars from the music industry at that time, kind of spearheaded by Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, so many incredible singers kind of got together and put together a song to benefit famine in Africa and to help feed the hungry in Africa. And but I'll put that up front. I'm not going to go through all these songs, but I just want to share. That's what I'm listening to right now using these headphones. And man, I love it. I love this song composition that we put together, and I hope please continue recommending songs. And that's let me show you guys real quick. Yeah, speaking of Michael Jackson, like that's from the Thriller album. Billie Jean is what I'm listening to right now, but phenomenal movie that I recently saw. I think it was called Michael, but very good song. Let's keep going, guys. And I did add some more, but I need to add it to our homepage. What I did was I've started producing monthly mission reports on kind of help keep track of as we're building our global community, the efforts that we're doing, the issues that we're facing, the lessons that we're learning, how we're improving every single day. And I need to add a link to that on this page. So another effort that I've been focused on. All right, with that. Then I want to share videos that we've published. So you see, yesterday, this is a video I'm really proud of because I think it came out really good and has a powerful message. Look at that quote right there. It's Thomas Jefferson at the very beginning of this, talking about media that I've researched and that I trust, and they put out good quality, trustworthy, independent journalist reports called Frontline documentaries. But look at this quote, guys. Our liberty depends on freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without it being lost. Talking about once the freedom of the press is being infringed upon, that's when you really need to start being concerned if your government is starting to erode your freedoms as citizens of whatever country you're in. And yeah, very kind of concerning times that we're living through. But that, I mean, you guys can see, published a few videos with important messages, and then a few other shorts too. But if you're watching this, I hope you go through and look at it, and I think you're gonna see. I know you're gonna see, like, yeah, this human values community, they're producing content with important messages, and uh, living out their purpose. All right. So again, I have to kind of divide in my head. This is a preparatory, right? I'm not here to entertain, guys. This is for the audiences. If you want to know what's the background of this research on specific topics, and the specific topic we're looking at today is microplastics and the impact on it. And I'll say it again, guys, because it was one of those issues that kind of put me at my low point in my life on this spiritual crisis that I had almost a year ago, right? So don't think like, man, I'm looking at a guy who's kind of on the edge of, no. But at one point, September last year, I was very desperate, in a very desperate point of my life. And the issue of microplastics, plastic waste, I'm going to stop trying to call it microplastics, because that's just, when you think of the breakdown of plastic waste, it goes macro, MACRO, then micro, then nanoplastics, right? So it's, what we're talking about is plastic waste, but people are familiar, and I'm familiar with the term microplastics, but we're talking about plastic production, plastic waste, plastic misuse, plastic disposal, plastic impact. That's what I'm saying is, you know, I called a previous leader of mine and, told him, like, I'm not in a good place right now because it's overwhelming to think about the impacts plastics having on society. And that's right now today, right? You're talking about, and we're going to get into the research, but people suspect that microplastics in our bloodstream, in our reproductive organs, probably both, right? But I know for sure I've read about microplastics being found in uh, the testes, the testicles of men. But I'm assuming also in women's reproductive organs, probably in breast milk, right? It's throughout our bodies and throughout our biosphere and our environment. And but what I read was its impact in fertility rates, and that's a concerning issue too. Both sides of that, underpopulation and overpopulation. That's a topic we're going to look at in the future, but not so much right now. But that's what we're going to look at right now, guys. Microplastics. But I want to talk to you about the methodology. Right. So again, this is kind of the informal process of me building a more formal live stream. I don't want to call it an outbrief, but like update, a more formal live stream where we're going to talk about microplastics. But I want to kind of give a behind the scenes look at how did this dude make it. And, right now it's me in my home studio, and I know it's like super late or super early, right? Like it's a global audience. So there's no perfect time to do these, but I think I'm trying to do the formal outbrief at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. But again, once I hit in stream, then these get processed on YouTube and they're there and they're no longer live. But no, the moment I was recording this, yeah, it is. It's a live broadcast. It's kind of a theme, right, that I've been mentioning a few times, is how I really at times believe we are at or very close to peak human civilization. And I'm not going to delve too much into that, but part of it is the technology that we have available. I'm one human being in one room, my home studio, looking into a camera with a microphone and lighting, and you can broadcast messages to the entire world, to a global audience. And are we doing that? We're really effective at doing that for entertainment purposes and for sport. But guys, we need to progress beyond just being entertained and seeking entertainment, and let's combine our intellectual abilities, and let's start delving into some of these major issues. And right now we're going to talk about plastic waste. All that to say, I didn't yeah, I mean, this effort, right? It's a life in balance. So I have other competing priorities in my life that require attention. So we're going to build this together. That's what I'm saying, guys. And I know that's not super entertaining, and maybe no one's ever going to watch this. I hope you guys, you're here right now watching it. So thank you. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, let's just go through these real quick, since I hadn't put together a formal outbrief for this one. I did. So this is what I was talking about earlier. News journalist organization that I personally trust, and they put together compelling and very high quality journalistic reports. Yeah, I'm going to emphasize. I'm just going to keep it emphasized. This is just my reusable coffee mug. And when I don't have a coffee maker here, that's an investment I hadn't made yet, and like an espresso type machine. But I just take it to my local coffee shop and fill it up because I don't know about you guys, but I'm very conscious about producing waste, and I hope we all move towards that. Yeah, this was a scandal. That's the video that I recently produced. Is This was one scandal of one nonprofit organization that had a deep impact on me and how much I trust different organizations. And no longer, guys, I don't give. It takes. I don't trust. I don't give organizations blanket trust right off the bat. I research them. And apologies, guys. Like I really think through my words before I say them. And don't you think we all need to do that, especially our leaders? You hear that phrase, diarrhea of the mouth, like people just uncontrolled, just can't do that, guys. Like words have meanings and words have consequences too. So if you hadn't seen that video yet, yeah, check it out. Yeah, spend some time talking about terrorism. And I need to flesh this concept out a little bit more. And I'm going to put a more refined, edited video together about kind of terrorism. But what sparked this, we were talking about the global war on terror. And right when you commit yourself to a war, and we talked about this in our Just and Unjust War live stream and follow on videos. But the war on terror is a war on a specific tactic. So have we won the war on terror? Impossible. You cannot win a war against a tactic. So yeah, if we're whoever is responsible for naming future military operations, let's be a little bit wiser with the choice of our naming convention. Here's a memorial at the National Infantry Museum in the United States for not America's war on terror, right? It was the global community in this case was united after the terrorist attacks on September 11. And that's something else I'd like to get deep into because there's a lot of concerning questions and issues that bother me about the official September 11 narrative. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, before you accuse someone of being, oh, this dude's a conspiracy theorist, spend some time researching that stuff because there's things that don't make sense about the official September 11 terrorist attacks against the United States. Yeah. And then here we go. We're going to continue our research on plastic. Can you visualize, guys, 430 million metric tons of plastic? That's what's produced. And it's forever, right? Like plastics, like all over. Like you look around. And the purpose of this is not to vilify or demonize any industry, right? We're in the miracle age of plastic. And there's so many incredible people, I'm sure of that, in any industry. So many amazing people that are involved with that and brilliant. Imagine a young kid and a young child, and you have a passion for chemistry, and then you go, your your higher education, university, going all the way to PhD level and in chemistry and working for private industry and you're developing all these plastic products, no doubt people there have pure intentions of being providers for the family and excelling at their profession, right? It's not to demonize anyone, but we all know it's an issue, and that's what we're going to address today is plastic waste. How much plastic are we using? For what purpose? What are we doing? Who's responsible for the plastic waste, guys? Like these chemical companies, plastic companies, they're producing mass quantities of plastic, 430 million metric tons. You can't comprehend the scale of that. And that's just weight, guys. Yeah, we're going to get into that, the difference between volume and weight. But this was just one fact I looked up. I, I want people to visualize that 73 million adult African elephants and 72 million elephants. You can't comprehend that. Our minds are too small. We have nothing to compare that against. So maybe a little bit better per second. I think 1,300 elephants around the world produce that weight in plastic, and that's adult elephants, right? Not you're not thinking little cute baby elephants, like massive adult elephants worth of plastic. 1,300 every second, guys. That's mind-boggling. 86 million fully loaded garbage trucks. I think this came out of the UN, so I provided them some feedback. Like, what are you talking about here? Are you talking about, you know, a garbage truck backing up to the ocean and like raising the trailer and dumping its contents of plastic, or the weight of the truck? But it's 5 million metric tons of plastic per truck, 86 million fully loaded. Again, you can't comprehend that stuff, guys. Yeah, guys, so this is the research. Our research live stream, so we're just building this stuff out, but yeah, we'll get back to that one. So then using AI, kind of came up with like, hey, let's come up with something to help people visualize what this weight actually is. It's the equivalent of 15 Great Pyramids, guys, of plastic produced every year. Yeah, here's a good quote. The purpose of knowledge is action. Not It's not just knowledge, right? Like people, right? This is my life journey. So I'll focus this quote internally. That's why I had this spiritual crisis. One of the reasons is I devoted myself wholly, completely to the profession of arms as a combat officer, an infantry officer in my nation's military. I wore the uniform for over 24 years, including officer cadet training. But then once I retired, you know, I sought out a life of comfort, right? Not being a narcissist, or I just wanted to, I was complacent and was okay with living a life of comfort. And yeah, it sent me into a spiritual crisis that you are not meant for that. And you have an education, you have certain natural gifts, better than some, not as good as others in different areas, right? Whenever you look at ourselves as a holistic person, we're all better than some, not as good as others in every category: physical, height, eyesight. You know, I was disqualified from the military service because of my poor eyesight. I kind of get distracted, guys. Let's stay focused on microplastics. So, this is the plan and methodology that we're going to use. And it's really, I did the research kind of based on my military background, right? How are these military missions and operations developed? So I kind of took that methodology, but that doesn't mean that's the best, guys. So I looked at what other planning methodologies are there, and I combined them. So now this one is define. Let's do it, guys. Let's start running. And sorry, it's a live stream. I'm going to be flipping because I have two separate Chrome accounts. This is our human values account, but I subscribe to some of these AI resources that we're going to use to help in our research with my other personal account. So I'm going to be switching back and forth. And I'm going to try to figure out, I am limiting how we do that. All right. Man, if you guys have to I know people are cringing right now, like watching. I don't mean to, guys. It's like I know people aren't big fans of doing PowerPoint. I mean, I'm conscious. I'm aware of the fact, like you're watching some dude struggle with PowerPoint right now. It's driving me nuts, but I'm not going to waste time doing that. We're going through our human values planning and research, not planning, our research methodology, how we're going to look at some of these global issues. And right now we're looking at plastic waste. But help us define the scope of plastic waste. What I believe is these are forever chemicals that they don't ever officially break down. So we talked about how civilization is producing 15 great pyramids of Giza if they were made out of solid lead worth of plastic weight every year. Help us define the scope. Hmm. Right. It's not an issue, guys. I would say it's a crisis, right? I don't think we need to define the word crisis. And if you don't feel that way, yeah, stick with me, guys. I would say if we're producing a harmful substance that's persisting for centuries, yeah, maybe forever isn't the correct term, but I don't know. We don't need to call it a long-term plastic, like a long-term chemical. Yeah, AI is kind of dancing around that section there without necessarily becoming harmless. Like, what kind of weak wording is it? I mean, it's harmful without necessarily becoming harmless. right? I remove the word most. I'm not claiming every single piece of plastic produced doesn't biodegrade, but you know the reason why I'm doing these live streams, guys, because what I'd like, if you're watching this long, I can't tell how long I've been. I really can't tell how long I've been broadcasting, but it's been more than 15 minutes. So if you're here with me right now, the intent of this, and I need to start the future ones with this, is during the research ones, I'd love for someone. I don't want this to be. This can't just be a one person effort. Like ideally, someone else who's concerned about this is dialing in, is participating during these live streams. And the way you can do that, if you're interested, yeah, this Calendly. Yeah, see, guys, I need to add more. But if you go to this link, I need to add it to our YouTube homepage links. I mean, it's right here on the homepage, but I'm not sure why it's not under here. Let me write that down, guys. Yeah, every day getting better. So apologies, guys. If you're watching, I'm trying not to have a lot of dead air. But you just go to this Calendly link. And then we'll work around a time, you know, like a time that's good for you, time that's good for me, and then we'll set it up, guys. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the reason why ideally in the future, it's not just one dude on here talking. Like I'd like to go like back and forth, kind of work on this together with people that share the same concerns. Yeah, I'm going to be real clear with what I'm saying. Hold on. If you share these types of concerns, yeah, I'm asking, like, contribute, participate. I think I think there's a growing awareness of issues like this, and I think enough said. But there's opportunities for you to participate, and not just like, hey, let's kind of get involved with this human values. Like the intent is to inform people on the details, on the specifics, on the urgency of some of these issues that we're going to explore. And today we're exploring microplastics. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. Well, right now it's one dude working on a kind of presentation. But in the future, I wish it's more than just me. And I'll leave it at that. Sometimes I'll put this up. So this is the specific song that I'm listening to right now. A group called the Smashing Pumpkins, and I wish I knew. I'm not for sure where they're from. I know I could look it up right now, but that's not important right now. But part of the '90s like grunge movement, and awesome band. Humanity consumes more than 500 million metric tons of plastic a year. I mean, I'm not real good at math. What is that, like 80%? 80% becomes waste. 80% of the plastic we consume, 80% of all plastic produced a year becomes waste. Right. You see, people say, oh, the phrase AI slop is out there. And I agree, there is a lot of AI slop. And the way I define it is there's some content creators, they just put in a um, prompt. They describe the scene, what they want AI to produce, and it makes it. And I'm not saying there's no value in that, but what I'm using artificial intelligence for, and I'm not even sure that's the best term for it. Just the most advanced technology available to me right now. I'm using it to research, and I'm not just saying like, hey, produce something. Like I'm giving it the human input, and what I'm saying is this Great Pyramid that was came from my head. Uh, the United Nations had a, maybe I'm speaking, but I gave the prompt like the United Nations used the visual of a garbage truck. And I said that's not really clear to me, because is that the weight of the truck plus a load of garbage in plastic? Is it just the the load whenever they dump it out worth of plastic? So I gave the prompt to AI, let's come up with something better. And I think I used Eiffel Tower, but that wasn't a good, because it's just a structure. Anyways, what I'm saying is human input with artificial intelligence came up with that analogy and that visualization of 15 to 17 great pyramids, as if, right, they're already massive in weight, incalculable. How heavy, like the Great Pyramid of Giza is, of solid stone, but even more than just stone, if it was solid lead, that's how much plastic's being produced every year. Sorry, guys. I know this microphone's so good. You could probably hear me gulp. I hate it, guys. I hate right. It's probably saved lives. Like giving someone a a plastic bottle full of water has probably saved so many lives. But you know what I'm saying? I feel guilt for producing plastic waste. So, just another example of a stainless steel container, a couple of rubber gaskets that probably regularly need to be replaced, and that's what I use. Yeah, let's define the problem. So, massive production, single use. Hmm. You guys that have children or you're planning to have children, like, does this stuff concern you? Or maybe you're struggling with having kids and you're like, man, maybe microplastics in my reproductive organs has a negative impact on that. I don't like this phrase, inadequate recovery. Enormous production. Yeah, let's define this. So, right, it's human brain, and not the smartest human brain, guys. But this is just my life's mission to do what I can to have a positive impact. Human brain plus modern technology. Let's make something positive happen. Expand on this. Enormous production in parentheses. How many metric tons produced annually? Short product lifespans, parentheses. Let's talk about single use plastic. How much waste produced annually comes from single use plastic, plastic utensils, plastic shopping bags, plastic plates, cups, etc. Single use plastic. Inadequate recovery in parentheses. Just a short description on recycling methods. I understand that plastic can only be recycled. Certain plastics can only be recycled one time, but before they become too brittle to recycle. It's not like aluminum where you can continuously recycle. So expand on inadequate recovery and extreme persistence. Don't worry about expanding on it in parentheses. Just let's do a bullet per each one. Enormous production and then expand on it. Short product lifespans, expand on it. We don't need to make this a short statement. We're talking about the major global issue of plastic waste. And I'm coming up with a title for a slide, and it's more than plastic waste. Would you call it a plastic crisis? Just expand on that. God, guys, I wish I could just jam out to music with you guys, but there's like copyright issues, and maybe sometime I will. We'll just listen to this playlist together. But this is the song I'm listening to right now. I'm going to restart. It's so good. Come on, Spotify, man. It's called Somebody Else. Yeah, it's so good. I'm just laughing a little because the chorus is basically it's about heartbreak. Like he doesn't want to imagine someone who broke his heart or being with someone else. And yeah, I've been through a painful experience too, guys. I hope you haven't been through a painful experience as painful as what I've been through, but let's keep going. Yeah. Right. That came out of a human brain, guys. It's not nothing special. It's just crisis. We are poisoning civilization, guys, and we're all guilty of it, right? We're all complacent. And we're going to come up with a recommended solution. Solution's probably not the right term. We may have done more damage than what we can recover from already, but we're going to come up with proposals to limit the negative impact we're having on humanity right now and our planet right now, but in the future too, guys. 15 to 17 great pyramids made of pure lead produced every year. And there's no end in sight, guys. There's no end in sight. So think of how much has already been produced, how much is already in existence in our world, and we are continuing to add to it. So let's keep running, man. Man, I really, God, sorry, guys. Maybe I came close to saying a curse word. I didn't mean to, though. Yeah, I would love it, man. I would really love if someone else was on right now so we could just bounce stuff back and forth. So this stuff too, guys, I'm conscious about, right? I'm conscious about like someone, if you're watching still, you're like watching some dude make a outbrief slide. God, such another good song, guys. Have you heard of this song, After Dark? This is like someone I know really likes kitties. She probably, someone like her named the band Mr. Kitty. I think that's the French way of spelling program. They put an E on the end of it. Uh, I know on my smartphone you could just screen capture the text and paste it, but I'm not gonna waste time. Mr. Kitty, I wonder how you came up with your band name. Like the connotation, Mr. Kitty. focus. I gotta focus, man. Like, I don't need to waste time capitalizing words. Let's just run. Hundreds of millions of tons, 2,000 pounds. What is it? So, like, guys, why can't we use just one standard unit of measure for distance and weight? Why don't we start encouraging people, right? Like I've shared before, I'm not going to waste time right now, guys, but I have a reusable, I don't know if it's linen, it's cloth, cotton or linen, but a reusable bag that I take when I go shopping, and plural reusable bags. Ideally, they're not plastic, guys, because like we talked about already, plastic just persists in the environment. Guys, we have to get better. We have to be more responsible. I don't know why this. I think I am, guys. Like, I'm conscious about copyright and stuff, but if I get flagged, because right? That's why I'm saying our home base is our website. Because I wouldn't say I own it. I guess I do own it. It's my website, humanvalueslife.org. But I'm conscious because, like, at any time, Mr. or Mrs. YouTube, whoever's in charge, can just take this channel away, take my public voice away. And I'm conscious of that. So I don't want to risk that and have any copyright infringements. But it's silly, right? Well, yeah. This is an example of what we can push, what we can communicate better, that let's start using reusable. And already, right, there is an effort to replace single-use shopping bags and to add a tax. But that's something I do too. Is yeah, it's plastic, but I take a Tupperware container when we go to a restaurant and we take our leftovers in our own Tupperware container. I'll expand that later. Let's keep pushing. So we're talking about enormous production, short lifespan. I don't know if you guys are reading. I'm going to try to keep talking. I apologize because I'm a more of an internal type thinker. Like, I was talking to someone the other day, right? If you have to label someone extrovert or introvert, right? It's a scale. And on the scale, there's extreme sides, extreme introvert, like so uncomfortable, and extreme extrovert where it's like they can't stop. I'm kind of in the middle, but lean a little bit more towards introvert. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But I'm gonna so it's a conscious effort to continue talking. But at the same time, I'm trying to focus on this stuff too and not lose my train of thought. So I want to add this fact. More than 280 million metric tons of short-lived plastic products become waste. That is alarming, you guys. See, like, I don't know, Mr. Microsoft. I know Bill Gates isn't there, but like, why do I have to change bullets every time? Give a visualization, help us visualize what 280 million metric tons is equivalent to. And we can use the Great Pyramid of Giza made out of solid lead as an example. See, come on, chat. Do not produce an image unless I specifically say make an image. Reply in text. If you guys think I'm talking kind of stern with chat, yeah, you guys can chill because chat and I have this kind of history. So I think it's used to me cursing at it pretty sternly. So yeah, packaging. Come on, guys. Isn't there a better way, a better substance, a better process of packaging that can reduce waste? Amazon, you guys produce so much packaging. What are you guys doing to limit that? I don't understand this, guys. Yep, talking about recycling already. There's a difference when we're talking about recycling can be recycled and is recycled. So differentiate how much plastic produced can be recycled a year and then how much actually is. Why did I choose plastic to talk about? Is that what I think the greatest threat to humanity is? No, absolutely not. I don't know. It was the topic that came up during our prep the other day on day 3. And it was at the time, September 2025, the main topic that kind of set me off on my downward mental health spiral, because you realize how much microplastics in the if you contemplate, if you think about, deep think how big a issue this really is, it can be overwhelming, guys. And I don't want to overwhelm anybody. And if you feel like, hey, the stuff this guy talks about in this human values communities, like having an effect on my mental health, like take a pause and kind of recalibrate and reset yourself. And I had to do that too, guys. But I am choosing action instead of inaction. Choosing inaction is what led me, and it's going to lead you too down a dark path, because emotionally and spiritually, because I think we all have that choice: choose action or inaction. And if you choose inaction when you know there are major global issues impacting humanity now and in the future, and if we choose, when we choose, if we choose inaction and not to address this stuff, like spiritually, it's going to have an impact. And it did have an impact on me. So that's why I'm choosing action now. And until I die, guys, as long as possible, we are going to run. So we're talking about single use plastics are a major issue, guys. Let's do our part to limit that. Take Tupperware containers, right? Tupperware's a brand, right? I think that's copyrighted trademark. Take reusable containers when you go to a restaurant and you anticipate having leftovers. Take reusable container. Hey, I don't want your plastic crap. Put it in this reusable plastic crap. If it's like that, that's reusable, guys. That's what I'm saying. And ideally, we get away from all plastic and start as much as possible. We're in a miracle age of plastic. I think I started down that train of thought and didn't finish it. Right. So let's start. I don't know if I'm going to finish. It's incredible. Like the people involved in this industry. Like think about how much plastic's involved in everything, but specifically things that help humanity in classrooms, teaching kids, in for transportation. Medical is specifically what I was thinking about. Like the impact of, right? You can't say we're going to use 0% plastic. Like plastic's part of our modern culture. What we're talking about is limiting plastic waste. And that's what we're going to focus this effort on: limiting plastic waste. I don't think it's dishonest, right? If I'm omitting words like nearly, like it's an estimate. I don't think anyone's going to say, oh, this dude's lying to me because he omitted the word nearly 2/3 of all plastic waste. Yeah, guys. One person, man. I hope one person calls and I'll figure out a way we can use Zoom and we'll just do this together live on air or in the live stream. All right. So I'm doing copy paste. I don't want to lose something. So this is a second one. Apologies, guys. Like I try not to apologize, but in this case, I am apologizing. Like watching someone fumble through PowerPoint, terrible. I will be more conscious of that. All right, I want to capture this. Nearly 2/3 of all plastic waste comes from useful lifespan shorter than 5 years. You know, I understand the language, but I think we need to expand on that. I think we're using soft language when we're saying useful lifespan. We're really talking about like a toxic breakdown of the product. Is that what we mean by useful lifespan? Expand on useful lifespan. After, if a lifespan is shorter than 5 years, is lifespan defining when it starts breaking down into toxic, absorbable substances by the human body or biological bodies? Right, you know what I'm saying? It makes it seem like, oh, guys, hey, you can't use this plastic Tupperware container because it has a lifespan of 5 years, and then, yeah, it's no. That I think that's what it's saying is that it starts breaking down into like a toxic substance. Performs a function. I don't. Yeah, we're gonna talk about plastic clothing too, guys. Chemical leaching. That's what we're talking about. Physical fragmentation. This it's like soft language and it's inaccurate and it's. I'm not gonna be guilty of kind of having using that leading language that makes the problem seem like it's not that bad, guys. Like most plastic only has a useful lifespan of 5 years. No, we're talking about this stuff, chemical leaching and breaking down. AI, man. That's why I really don't understand why. I'm not going to waste time on this changing bullets, guys, but I don't know why when I indent, it should go to a different subparagraph bullet. I'll just do it manually. Do it myself, guys. All right. I don't care about formatting. Let's focus on pushing through this research live stream. Useful, good. All right, we're there. Microplastics, macro to micro to nano, physical fragmentation. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean all the plastic produced throughout human civilization, past, current, and future, is not going to exist on our planet. It will exist. Mm. Let's get informed on plastic and let's start working on solutions, propose solutions, and let's make a positive impact on the planet and on humanity. And that's what I meant to do too. Let me show you guys. So I have playlists, and I know I started one on plastic waste. Yeah, this lady, awesome. Like she had, I think her whole channel maybe, or at least what I remember when I looked at her channel, which I subscribed to, is she highlights cleaning up natural areas, public areas of plastic waste, cleaning plastic waste from the beach. Mm. We're not gonna watch this stuff, guys, but I am gonna, on my own time, do more to research and right. It's a finite amount of time in every day. Look at this, like burning plastic. I'm sure that's not good. Anyways, maybe that's something when I come up with the edited video. Like this looks real. I try. I'm not gonna say I haven't, but I try not to put a video in a playlist unless I've watched it first. But I'm gonna put this one in there because Ted Ed is a trustworthy, reliable channel to me. So I will watch it later, and I'm gonna add it to our plastic waste playlist. You guys know what I'm talking about, how we're not maximizing the use of this technology. Like how many, and it's not a knock on anyone, but how many streamers are out there, they're video game streamers, and it's great on them, right? I'm not casting stones. But if I'm going to watch someone live stream, I want to watch someone like, hey, this group, they're trying to like solve some of these major global issues. Let's like support, participate, observe, watch. All right, man. So let's keep moving. I think I can expand on this later. What I'm trying to do is go back to our analysis framework and let's keep building out. Sorry, guys. I don't know. Now I'm thinking through like these there's people that devote their entire careers to these issues. So like how in depth do we need to get? So are we still defining the question? I think so. I think we're about done. I think we covered a lot of facts when we were defining the question. Let's go through some assumptions that we can do right now. Awesome. I love Microsoft, man, that's awesome. All right. We're going to start highlighting some assumptions about plastic waste. Hmm. Like, I think if I put the stop, this is just a test. Okay, good. Yeah, let's think through some assumptions on plastic waste, right? It's, the definition of assumption versus fact. Maybe some of what I'm about to say is someone's turned it from an assumption into a fact, but apologies, guys. Yeah, help us outline some common assumptions for plastic waste. Is it an assumption that modern civilization, that plastic production, use, and disposal and pollution is an unchangeable part of modern civilization? Right? Are we assuming that, hey, we have to use plastic? Is it an assumption that there is no ideal disposal of plastic waste? And that's including recycling. Is it an assumption that most plastics either cannot be recycled or can only be recycled a limited amount of time before their chemical composition becomes too unstable? Is it an assumption to say that all plastic waste will eventually become harmful to biological life on our planet? I assume the issue of plastic production and plastic waste accumulation on our planet will not be addressed by private industry or private indivi- individuals on an individual level without coordinated educational programs and legislation addressing the issue. Right? What I mean by that, guys, is it takes more than just one person or, YouTube videos, or it's going to take a coordinated effort across global governments, national governments across our global community to address this issue. This is a big assumption. I'm assuming the issue of plastic waste is such that without aggressively addressing this issue, the accumulation of toxic plastic waste in our biosphere, in our environment, around the globe, will become detrimental to humanity and to future civilizations. I'm assuming that's going to happen. What do you think? What do you think? I think it's a major issue. I think it's a major issue. Let's go. It's a terrific band called Beach House and this song called Myth. Like, awesome, awesome song. Let's do it. All right. So it's an assumption that, yeah, I don't know. I think that's a fact. It's deeply, the assumption is that today's level of production is going to persist. It cannot, guys. So that's the assumption, that how much we're making now is the same amount's going to persist or increase in the future. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to get hung up on one assumption, right? All right. So the second assumption we're looking at is there's no harmless method for disposing of plastic waste. Uh, that reading through this, it looks like that's almost a fact. Like there's an environmental cost to every method of waste disposal, plastic waste disposal. This music's too good, guys. I don't want to. I'm doing a live stream on YouTube right now, and in the background on my headphones, I'm listening to a Spotify playlist. But I want the audience on the live stream to be able to listen to the music too. But I don't want to get my channel banned from YouTube for copyright infringements. Can I use it as fair use if like I give credit to the artist? Help me find a way where I can listen to this playlist during the live stream as we're conducting research for global solutions. I know what the answer is going to be because I researched it already. It's just like a no-go. I understand it, right? It's someone else's. Like, I didn't make this music. But I don't care about monetization too, right? So yeah, maybe I'll put together a Shutterstock music playlist and just play it in the background since I paid for that. YouTube audio library, man, y'all's music's not that great. Epidemic sound. I'll figure this out later for the future, guys. I get it. I understand copyright infringements. I don't know, guys. I'm just wrestling through these issues and trying to come up with a good process for doing the research, showing how I'm doing the research to be as transparent as possible. But I think I'm going to end this one right here. So maybe to improve the future ones, I'm going to continue researching this, right? And then I'm going to go hit the gym. But I feel disconnected a little bit because I know no one's here right now, but with the headphones in, I'd rather play some music in the background that we can, as an audience member, you can listen to at the same time I'm listening to it, and we'll kind of keep it low so it doesn't drown out our discussion. I'm going to push. Maybe I'll make a YouTube short today. And yeah, I'd like more involvement from people. Like dial in and we'll do kind of a interview beforehand or an informal meet and greet, just to see kind of where we are. I don't want someone to call in and then, do something that would not benefit our human values community, right? So that's what I'm saying is kind of do an initial screening and then coordinate to participate in a future live stream. That's what I'd like. Yeah, any feedback would be appreciated, guys. But I'm going to keep running with this issue. This issue of microplastics like really impacted me because I think we're poisoning our planet. Let's be careful with our words and use words in the appropriate way. Modern civilization is, based on what we've already researched, We are, because we are all guilty of it. As consumers, we're all guilty of the modern sin of consumption and overconsumption and irresponsible waste, producing waste irresponsibly. We're all guilty for the modern day sin of being consumers. And, I don't want that to make you depressed. Like, man, this dude's right. Like, how much waste do I produce every day, every year, throughout my lifetime? Even this shirt, guys, I love it. It's one of those dry, quick dry fabrics, but I know it's plastic, but I use it for a gym shirt. But part of that is because, again, me being guilty as a consumer, as one consumer out of 8.3 billion consumers across the world, yeah, I picked the shirt, but I'm telling you right now, if I had a choice between a natural fabric shirt, a cotton workout shirt, I would choose a cotton workout shirt. So, this one's a Nike. Nike, let's start producing cotton workout clothing, natural fibers. I don't know if cotton's the best, There's hemp, linen. I don't know if linen's the best, but you know what I'm saying? Let's start using transition into natural fabrics as one example of how we can reduce plastic waste around the world. All right, guys, I'm going to end it here because I don't know how long I've been going, and this research is persistent, and I do think there's value in kind of sharing it, but right now, to tell you the truth, I feel like just one dude in my home studio taking on this massive issue. And I know other people are too, but the point is, I want to start kind of getting background. And what's different is I want to start us to start developing proposed solutions and things we can do. And that's what I'm going to focus the outbrief on our update. All right, guys, wherever you are, used to be in the past, not often, right? Maybe once or twice, like, hey, I hope you have a blessed day. It sounds positive, right? But spiritually, I don't know what that means. It's like, I hope our divine creator blesses your day. But I do want to leave on a positive message. These issues that we're looking at in our human values community can be overwhelming. And I know, guys, like it never made me want to, yeah, I'll just say it, guys. I never thought about choosing to end my life because to me, that's a choice you can never make. And if you're ever close to that, right, because of some of these overwhelming issues or different sorts of issues that you're going through your life, brother or sister, whatever you do, like reach out to me personally, and I'll do what I can to help get you away from that critical decision point. Because, yeah, this isn't about that topic, but these topics that we're exploring cumulatively led me to a point where I had no desire to continue living. I'll put it like that. That's the best way to put it. And I know for sure I'm not the only one out there because, you know, I, I'm tapped into like social media things like Reddit and right, social media, like people communicate that they're going through difficult times, and they've at that point of their life where maybe their desire to live is less than what it was before. But yeah, I hope the intent is, and that's what I want to leave you with. Let's get energized. Let's get motivated. That sounds terrible. I wish I didn't say that because that is kind of lame. But let's get focused on addressing these global issues that are impacting current and future, the the present and the future of humanity. That's what we have to do, and that's what I hope you join this effort. And if there's someone else out there, I know there's other organizations like Greenpeace and stuff, but yeah, let's get involved, guys. Thanks. And now, just because it's research, right? There's a process to like ending these, so All right, guys. Thanks if you made it this long and, whatever point in time and space that you're in right now. uh, Thanks for being here and thanks for your support.